The ultimate in comfort food. We're going to make an American classic, which is a Philly steak sandwich. Now the first thing we have to do for this recipe is I've got some par-cooked baguettes. You'll find these in all supermarkets. They're basically half cooked. They're only going to take about 10 or 12 minutes in the oven. So I'm going to pop them in now at 200 degrees. Now I've bought some sirloin. I've got 600 grams of sirloin here. And this piece of fat that's on the edge of it, we really want to get rid of that. So the easiest way to do that is we lay it down flat. I've got a very sharp knife. This is crucial. And we're just going to run our knife. If you can see there, the piece of fat at the bottom, we're just losing that and we're keeping all that beautiful meat. Now if you don't feel comfortable doing this, by all means, go and get your butcher to do it. They'll be more than happy to do it. So there you see, we've got all that fat is gone and we're left with beautiful meat to cook with. So what I've got here is I've trimmed my beef right down and I've got a piece that's about 1 inch thick. What we'll do is we'll run the knife through and we want to keep it quite thin. I've got to show you how thin that is. That's the key to the whole steak sandwich. Now one thing that is really important when you're chopping or working with meat in any way at all is I've changed my chopping board. That old chopping board is covered in meat and we're going to start working with vegetables and other ingredients now. So the last thing we want to do is get that raw meat mixed through them. Make sure you always change your chopping board. Now over here I've got 2 frying pans on. The reason I've got 2 frying pans on is because we're cooking with a large amount of onions. We really don't want to have to pile them up high into that pan. So we're just going to split it between 2 and it's going to be a lot easier for us. So the first thing that I'm going to use is my olive oil. I'm going to put a little 2 teaspoons worth in there and the same in the other one. And because it is a Philly cheesesteak sandwich, I'm going to put a couple of knobs of butter in there. So when they mix together, they'll make a beautiful emulsion, and as soon as that happens, we're going to drop our beautiful onions into there. Now it might look like there's a lot of onions, but by the time those reduce down, they're going to be about 1/4 the size. So you see what I mean about using 2 pots. Very, very important. We want to brown these onions nicely. So to do that, we're going to make sure that we keep moving them around at the start. Now the bread rolls have been in for about 12 minutes and they're getting beautiful and golden brown. So we're going to take them out and set them to one side. Now as you can see, those onions are getting to a beautiful golden brown colour. They've been on there for 6 or 7 minutes. They're really caramelizing nicely. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to season them. A nice generous amount of salt. That really will enhance the flavour beautifully. And we're also going to add some nice green peppers. So we'll just keep those moving around for another 3 or 4 minutes. And we're going to have an absolutely beautiful caramelized delight to set on top of those sandwiches. So when those onions are cooking over there, I'm going to start preparing my bread. You slice it as if you would for any sandwich and you open it up. It's still hot. That's really fantastic. Now it's very important to do this when it's still hot as well. What we're going to do is we're just going to pick a little bit of the middle out. That's basically because there's so much filling that's going to be set on top of that sandwich that we're basically just making a bit of extra room. Now those are really caramelizing perfectly and they're getting to the stage because they've reduced so much down in the 2 pans that we can actually combine them into 1 pan. Perfect. Absolutely ready to go. You've got that even brown colour all over. What we're going to do is we're going to transfer them to the plate. And we're just going to keep these warm. There's plenty of heat beside this stove to keep them warm in the time that it'll take us to fry up that lovely beef. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put the same pan back on the heat. The reason I'm doing that and not using a different pan for the beef is because it's got those wonderful onion and pepper flavours in there that we're going to use to maximise that flavour in the beef. We're just going to add a little bit of olive oil. And we're going to get a little bit of heat into this pan because when you're cooking beef you want that nice sear when you're cooking it. So we're just going to let it smoke a little bit. It'll take about 10 seconds. There was quite a bit of heat in there already. So there it is. Now you can really hear that sizzle. We're going to get some lovely colour on that beef. And I'm also going to keep seasoning it. A nice bit of salt. generous amount of pepper. And this really isn't going to take more than 2.5, 3 minutes to cook, because what we don't want to do is overcook it. That's beautiful. Now see that colour coming onto it? That's what we're looking for. So let it sear, turn it around a bit, let it sear again. You're really looking for that nice sear on the outside. And at the same time, we've still got our onions, which are warm, which will be ready for the sandwich in a second. So that steak has come along perfectly. It's lovely and golden brown around the outside. We've got our onions. There's going to be enough heat over there to keep these two things warm, and I'm going to move over and make my sandwich now. Now, my teaspoon of garlic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into my mayonnaise. It's a very, very quick and simple sauce, but it really does add a beautiful flavour of the steak. Nice and liberally down the baguette. I'm going to bring over my beautiful beef that has still plenty of heat in it. I'm going to split it between the baguettes evenly. And then we'll top it up with our beautiful peppers and onions. But it's not quite finished yet, because I've got to layer some American deli style cheese on top of that again. I think we'll go with 4 slices. And what that's going to do is it's going to melt down in on top when we put it in the oven, and it's going to be a fantastic flavour. This dish is absolutely perfect. If you want to do it in the barbecue, let's say you saute your beef and you can put it in the same sort of baguette, put the little lid of the baguette on it and just close down that lid on your barbecue, and it'll melt just as well, and you'll even get that fantastic smoke flavour. We're just going to continue and put it in the grill. So I'll turn around and in it goes. That's not going to take much more.